So I have these 15 minutes that Joe told me, like, you have to present the company and stuff. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not really good at doing sales, but I'm good at talking about DevOps. So I thought I'll take the opportunity to talk a little bit about DevOps and then bring a little bit of context. I have tons of, slides and content, but I probably won't have time. So just Christian here is going to kick me out because he's the next one on this stage. So I got 10 minutes. We'll see what we go through. So what's important, and we always need to go back to the beginning, which is, okay, why do we do what we do? Why do we automate? Why do we write, PowerShell code? You always have to think because the business finds some value in you doing this. So if you need to manage priorities or think about it, you need to think about the business value. So it's the contribution you and your team has for the business that the organization finds, valuable. So what does that mean? You can see it in one way, which is there's a value chain. So your company probably find some values. That means get money if you're like a business organization, because they have a customer that wants to get something out of you. And then within that, your organization has many teams, team A, team B, team C. And then they provide value by working together. Maybe they create a platform, having some desktops, and then they're doing some accounting. And the accounting service is what eventually gets to the customer. But before they can do the accounting service, the management, they need to have a lot of things. A desktop, some applications, collaboration softwares, all of this managed. So you can see this, there's a chain of things that you build up, which is a value chain. If you think about, when you build a car, you have a chain, an assembly chain, and everyone adds a little value to the car, adding the dashboard, adding the wheels, adding the, the engine, and they're building up. So there's the same thing that happens in your organization, and you're part of that value chain. Maybe in that value chain, you are the team, that is doing some PowerShell, but you're just part of that chain, and there's other teams. So you have your internal customer. In this case, if you're in team C, your internal customer might be team A, and you might have more than just one team. And you see the customer there, they get some value out of you. So what they do is they give you something in return. If it's a business organization, usually it's money, but sometimes they don't have a direct customer. Sometimes you just trade, for instance, and you get money from the trades, not from a direct customer. So we create value. We create value when we automate, operate, secure things, gathering, normalizing, transforming data, so managing data, and doing some reportings. That's what the teams often does. PowerShell is just the enabler. It's just the tool, If you have a screwdriver, this is not the thing that does everything. It's just you use the screwdriver to screw something. So you're just part of the process. It's not the desired outcome. So the question is, okay, we all do PowerShell, we all write some PowerShell, but how can we produce more? So how can we make our company value more the job that we do? And you can ask in another way, what does it take to become a highly performant organization? If you haven't read this book, Accelerate, that's a very good book to give you an idea, why DevOps is important, how does that help you drive from a value, and then what are the key practices for achieving high performance. Very good book, especially the first half. The second half explains all the scientific process to do that. It's a very good book, at least the first half, very interesting to have. And that's probably something you should give your manager and say, well, we should read this just to understand the concepts, especially if you have difficulties having the right conversations with them. The key elements there is their capabilities that are important to improve your value creation, measuring and culture, technical practices, architectural, sustainable work, leadership, a lot of things. I can discuss that later. I don't have the time now. So looking at this book, I found there's, 4 levels of transformation, which I put it there. And that's my interpretation, but that's the idea. You have to influence the change speed, efficiency, collaboration, and the impact that you have. So if you look at the change speed, you've got to reduce the friction. Making a change should not be a painful exercise. You should have the idea, change the thing, and it should automatically be deployed. So then you get the feedback as quick as possible. You should automate those deployments to make this quicker. You should be able to focus and do deep work on something without someone tell you, oh, the priority is changing every single minute. Okay, you should not have to deal with this. There's a time to change the priorities for your next iteration, and there's a time where you just focus on that iteration. Someone should shield you from, oh, the big boss got an issue. Like maybe if you're working on a specific project, it's not the time for you to change your priorities until you're done with that iteration. And then obviously, if you have a loosely coupled architecture, it's easier to quickly update and put things into production. I don't have that much time, so I'm just going to skip through this and give you some ideas. And I will show you this is, all of these elements. And I have this brochure over there that you can get from the desks. What's important is this sheet, which is a summary of everything I'm showing you there. Less information, but we'll get something online soon. The idea is you have to focus on outcomes as well. The idea is we get to something like this, which is this diagram. And the idea there is there's all these fields where you can focus on changing speed, the efficiency of every change you're doing. That means improving quality, having tested tests, these kind of things. Collaborate, you're using Git, you have approval workflow, you share, you communicate through pull requests and code reviews. And then the impact is you're working on the right thing. And then you can evolve through, it's complete chaos. Everyone's calling you every 2 minutes. That's, this is the standard help desk in almost every company I worked for at some point. It's just complete chaos. And then you go, well, maybe we can improve from there. And then you have to understand where you are at the moment, where you want to go. And this little diagram that is on this paper helps you to think, okay, this is what I see in my company. What do I need to do to improve? Or maybe it's some of it. And then you have some elements where you have a bit more organization. You start doing, manual checklist. Have I checked this morning that this is working and this is not working? And then you document the process. You document the things. You start sharing the code. So you get to have, you can find, depending on your level of maturity, I would say, more and more specific way of working, which will help you along the way. And that's personal interpretation if you want, but there's a lot of practices which will help you improve the value that you deliver to your business. And I think I'm running out of time, so let me just double check. I got a few more minutes. Sorry? Oh yeah, thank you. So if you look at some things like managing all your source code in Git, with the Git tooling, and then managing pull requests, that can have an impact on a lot of things. That's why usually managing Git collaboration properly is the basis of, starting to iterate quickly and provide value faster to your company. So I'm going to stop there so that you can set up. If you have more questions, if you're more interested, feel free to come and talk to me. And then if you have questions about what we do, feel free as well to come and just have a chat. Otherwise, enjoy the conference and thank you for listening for a few minutes.